Mr. Chairman, thank you. Paul Rothstein, a law professor, a well-known law professor at Georgetown University, who's known as a very liberal pro-defendant analyst, said this about Ms. Lerner. He said, "She has run a very grave risk of having waived her right to refuse to testify on the details of things she has already generally talked about. In that situation, when you voluntarily open up the subject they want to inquire into, and it's all in the same proceeding, that would be a waiver." Alan Dershowitz, another very liberal legal analyst, very pro-defendant usually, said this. He says, Ms. Lerner opened a, quote, "a legal Pandora's box. You can't simply make statements about a subject and then plead the fifth in response to questions about the very same subject. Once you open the door to an area of inquiry, you have waived your Fifth Amendment rights. You've waived your self-incrimination right on that subject matter." The leading legal expert at the Heritage Foundation, obviously a conservative group, said, "We now know that Lerner already provided detailed information to the Justice Department before her appearance at the House Committee. Under the applicable rules of the federal courts in the District of Columbia, she waived her right to assert the Fifth Amendment." Some of you know I was a criminal court judge in Tennessee for 7.5 years trying the felony criminal cases. Jury trials have slowly almost become a thing of the past, but in the 80s we were trying cases right and left. I tried 78 jury trials my first year as a judge. And I can tell you that when Ms. Lerner made her statement and then asserted her Fifth Amendment right after that, I was stunned. Now, I admit that I have forgotten a lot of law in the 26 years since I was a judge. But I also can tell you, and I'm sure as a judge I made a lot of mistakes, but I don't believe I was ever reversed in a single case. And I had a reputation as being a pro-defense judge, and I leaned over backwards trying to give defendants every right that I possibly could. But you can't come in and make a statement like Ms. Lerner did and say, "I violated no laws, I've broken no rules," and specifically saying that she said I violated no rules or regulations of the IRS. Do that and then come in and plead the Fifth, because if that was possible, every person, every defendant in any proceeding in this country would do that. They would come in and testify and then plead the Fifth so that they couldn't be questioned, so that they couldn't be cross-examined, so they couldn't be held accountable. To allow this makes a mockery of our system. It makes a joke out of it. And I've got some other quotes from leading legal experts, and I will just close by saying that I appreciate what you've done, Mr. Chairman, and I personally think you're on the right track. I've talked to many legal experts, and I've read many articles about this situation, read and heard from many lawyers that know a lot more about this than I do, and most of them, the great majority of them, say that she has waived her right to plead the Fifth in this situation. And so I agree with you and will support you as you proceed through this markup today.